going to learn about the topic today. It's ethics and civilization in a diverse society. It's basically what we have learned last 3 weeks, but then we have to like go today in depth to understand like how or why Malaysia is like this. So let's what makes the Malaysian civilization and ethics so unique. Okay, so migration is what basically migration is something that contributes a lot to the diverse culture that we have. So we are diverse even before the coming of Europeans, colonialists. I mean, like I said in a few lectures before, I can't remember that, but I remember saying that the Malays are very cosmopolitan. They are very open to people. They accept people. So they are not because they are the center of trade. So for them it's quite natural for them to accept people because being an entrepreneur, a lot of people stay there. Melaka, I'm talking about Melaka period. So what has been found in pre-colonial has been a round of migration in the region of Malay civilization that has been found in India, China, Middle East. So we discussed this in the last lecture, right? So it becomes very concentrated, becomes very dense and concentrated, and then it becomes something not only dense and concentrated, it becomes something complex. Okay, so through this assimilation, accommodation, acculturation, all this Asian it becomes the culture that we see now, that you see now in Malaysia. Okay, so the post-colonial has continued into the global era. So when it continued to global era, global ethics also comes and infiltrate our own ethics. For example, now that we also have people who maybe it's quite what we call the far left, which is very influenced by Western idealism, and then start questioning cultures, traditional Malay cultures. So how are these people influenced? Is the global world, the social media, start raising awareness. Sometimes they even question things that are already embedded in the society, like fairy tales and poetries and things like this. So how does this Malaysian become far left because of this? Okay, and then we will go straight to the term civilization. In Malay, it's called tamadun. Tamadun is from Arabic, the word madana. Madana, Madinah, it all means city. Okay, so before the advent of Islam, the word tamadun basically meant cultures based on sovereign value and refined cultures. So people who have cultures are very refined. We call them, this person is very cultured. This person is very refined. This person has adab. In Arabic, you call it adab. Adab is they have manners. Okay, so Malay terms commonly used to describe progress and development, but then this word is not so broad. Okay, upon the advent of Islam, the Malay adopted this Arabic term. Okay, what are the meanings of ethics and civilization? So today we're gonna go in depth. I know that we've been talking about this for the last 2-3 lectures, but then this is, you have to go in depth because it's somewhere between philosophy and all this, and then you have the somewhere between philosophy, civilization, culture, and it's very complicated topic to talk about, but it's going to be important for your stay, and you understand why certain people are certain ways, so you don't step on people's toes, and it'll be very good for you. Okay, So ethics are moral principle or moral values, manners that are held by an individual or group of people. For example, in certain cultures, maybe chewing with your mouth open is not accepted. Making noises are not accepted. It depends. Sometimes people don't care. Civilization, the system and level of social development of a nation on the social and cultural progress of a nation. System and level of social development. Okay. The social and cultural progress of a nation. So basically, how socially developed a country is. Okay. How developed you are determines how civilized you are. For example, how do you treat your poor? Okay, how do you treat the homeless people? Okay, how do you treat people who are ailing and in need of a medical help? So all these are social. So this will determine whether you are developed or not socially. Okay, so we'll go to the next topic. So, we're gonna go talk about formation of ethics and civilization in a diverse society. How does ethics take its forms? Civilization takes its form in a very diverse society like Malaysia. So first, we have religion and beliefs. So, part of Malaysian national ethos, or I think we have something similar in Indonesia for Pancasila. In Malaysia, we have Rukun Negara, or its national ethos. Part of it, the first thing is believe in God. Doesn't matter what is your religion in Malaysia. A good Malaysian believes in God. So, religious and belief do play a part. For example, if you want to talk about Malaysia, it's not even it's a Muslim country. It's impossible to talk about Malaysia without talking about Batu Caves and the beautiful Hindu temples that we have. Okay, so it's very it's already embedded in our society. Although it's a Muslim country, majority people are Muslim, but it's part of our society. Okay, in a society, geographic placement, yeah, whether you're living in between other people's culture. If you live in other people's culture, you mix around with other people, you might understand better. Okay, and then you understand better. You are very receptive. If you are only living with your own kind, it be a bit difficult for you to for other people's culture to infiltrate your culture. Okay, and then we have organized system of social institution. Social institution is basically what you call social institution is like we have the government, we have the ministry. So in Malaysia, even before the colonial, we do have a very exclusive what you call it, very exclusive or very organized system of governance. Okay, and then we have legal system, values and moral. Before colonial, we have our own laws. That is a mix of culture and Islamic religion, Sharia law, and also cultural law. It's not 100% Sharia law. So they also have like the morals, the traditional morals that they already have. Even today we still practice it. The older people like me still practice it. I don't know about younger generation. Okay, and then we have development of creativity, arts. You know, okay, some Malay dances have influence of Hindu culture, Indonesian culture, Chinese culture, or maybe dress, the way we dress have lately of Arab influence. Okay, and then improve quality of life and increase expectancy. So quality of life is good, and you increase expectancy. Expectancy is actually life. Okay, a language associated with distinct writing system. Okay, we have the Malay language, and then the writing of Malay language is Jawi. It's not the Romanized script. It's something like Arabic script, but with a few additional words. because the Malay language is quite different from Arabic language. Okay, and then we have design, technology, construction, all this technology, exchange of technology, and then we get to know each other from technology. Even right now, I'm teaching you using technology, right? So it's these elements are very important. Okay. Okay, the next part is geophysical environment. Usually, ethnic group has historical and traditional relationship with a particular geographic area. So, for example, Malaysian Peninsula is surrounded by South China Sea and the Strait of Malacca as route of meeting place, mixing of two great civilizations. So, China and India. Resources and agriculture products. Malay trades and has trades with other civilization. The Malaysian civilization is embodied to the plural world civilization through cultural diffusion. This is what I was talking about, like because the situation that we are situated in the middle of the trade route, so the Malays, they become very cosmopolitan. So they have been accepting Arabs influence, Indian influence, Chinese influence, everybody. Okay. And the Chinese and Indian that have settled here also have taken away Malay influence for them. Okay. And then so impact on the Malays. The Malays are the first people to come here. We're gonna discuss later how many races that we have here in Malaysia. Okay. So the Malay, they came, and then this Malay group is known as the Deutero Malay or Coastal Malay. They are not in Malaysia, they're in Indonesia, in Singapore, and Brunei, and Philippines. So that's why if you see, we look alike. Okay. And then environment of Malaysia has the ideal climate and geographic location. So we don't really have natural disaster. We do have floods, usually in November and December because it's the monsoon, but then it happens like once every 10 years. But we do have flood in the city. We call it a flash flood. So I don't know whether that we consider that as natural disaster, but we're talking about natural disaster. We're talking things about like you know, like earthquakes, volcanic eruption. So we don't really have those. Like a few years back, I know that it happened somewhere in Sabah. I'm not sure about how the geographical movement of the these plates are, but that is another lecture from another faculty, I guess. And then so the Malays are rather sedentary because their life is quite easy. I guess the life is quite easy. So they don't really need to really struggle for anything because this land is in abundance. Everything is a lot here. Okay. So the people and the demography. So what is people? People is a group of people. What is society? Masyarakat means is basically society and demography is a group of people. Okay. That interacts with each other and live together. Okay. So it's the few characteristics is they live together, they have culture. For example, in Malaysia, our culture is Malaysian, they just, if you go to Facebook, they're very angry all the time, but it doesn't translate in physical action. They're just angry on Facebook. Okay. And then they have a ruler, they have a social order. So this is what we call society. Okay. So they live together and they work together, and they think about the society together. For example, right now Malaysians are very scared of the virus. So everyone is like very angry. Don't go out. Why are you at the mall? Although the government did not say that you cannot go out to the mall, it's not advisable. Okay. Like I said before, plurality on Malaysia is because it was a transit point between people of different culture, and then so it becomes very diverse. In the 18th century, the British brought the Chinese and Indians. The push situation in their country because there war and famine, and they was lucrative resources and job opportunities. Okay. Before Western colonization, we do have migration, but it's in a small scale. Now it's in a large scale. Okay. So British came to Malaya in the 18th century with 3 goals, basically gold, gospel, and glory. Goal is gold. This is not good. The goal is as in gold, riches, and then gospel as in the Bible, to spread Christianity, and then glory is like to bring fame to their own country. So having a lot of colonies equal to having a lot of fame. Okay. And then the British has separated. The 15th century, last week we discussed that Renaissance and everything. They've separated religion with their own society, or the administrative part of it. For them, religion is the reason people fight. The religious reason they are backwards because they're in terms of their own experience. Okay, so they start to secularize, meaning to separate Islam not into the administrative part, but also in terms of to modernize. Okay, to modernize, so they include Islam into another part of the society. So Islam is only part of culture, no longer part of governance. Okay. Okay, definition of society in Malaysian context. So it's plural, meaning what? It's a lot of people, different kind of people, different kind of religion, different kind of races, different languages. Okay. So it was created by the colonialists, and then they mix with each other, but they are not united. We are together, but we are separated. Something like that. Because we each have our own culture. Okay. There are also some meeting points of this culture. So we'll go into it. Don't worry. Take one day at a time. And then we also have different religion. Okay. And then there are a lot of things we're going to discuss. Okay. The influx of immigrants, the process of forming a multiracial society began as it now. It started with what? Because the Malays were cosmopolitan, but the society wasn't as plural as it is right now before the coming of the colonials. Okay. So we have group of Indians and Chinese that have been assimilated and have become Malaysian and can speak Malay. Okay. And then so therefore Malaysia is a diverse country. It has a lot of, okay, so how many races do we have? We have Chinese, Indian, Malay, and then in Sabah we have Bidayu, Melanau, Orang Ulu, Kadazan. We have so many people with so many languages of their own. Okay. So it is quite attractive if you have the opportunity to come. Let's hope the virus go away. Everyone can resume their life as normal. You can come, you can experience our culture. Okay. That's why I have to teach you now so that you don't offend anybody. Okay. So, plurality and diversity. Okay. So, so the term plural society used to refer to people of various ethnic groups in the presence of colonial Malaysia after bringing in immigrants from China and India for economic interests. Okay. So our culture is a result of meeting point. Okay, Chinese culture, Indian culture, Arab culture, other people's culture. You can have your own culture. Okay. And then this plurality civilization is natural. It's not, civilization is plural. It's not coerced. Okay, nobody is forcing you. But society is kind of like a coercion. It's like forced upon us. Like British brought this immigrant and during that time. Okay, so then it was given by the British. So it's not an issue, big issue. We accept them as our brothers and sisters. But this is how it is. Okay. So there are like 4 processes of ethnic relationship. So basically we start from segregation, which is separation between ethnic groups, and then we have accommodation, where you accept people's value without trying to compromise their culture, and then they're free to practice their own culture, and then we have assimilation, integration. We have cultural assimilation. Minority, we learn the culture of majority. Structural assimilation, minority groups successfully participate in majority institution. So we have, you know, like, and in Malaysia, our parliament is diverse. We do have members of parliaments. They are non-Muslim, they are Hindus, they are Buddhists, they are Christians. Okay. And then we have amalgamation, which is the highest level of assimilation. It's a process of fusion through biology, intermarriage. Meaning, we have an Arab dad, Malay mom, or Chinese mom, Malay dad. Okay. So, and then we have in Malaysia we have segmented assimilation. Everyone has their own identity. We do not compromise their identity. And then we also have what we call local and universal culture. Okay, for example, if you in Malaysia, the Chinese would take care that we have halal food, Islamic approved food. Okay. Then British, when they were colonizing us, their economy was rapid, and then they left the Malays to tend to traditional economic patterns. They were not given opportunity to join capitalist economic system. They have this divide and rule policy, and then where the Malays stayed in the villages, and then the miners and the businessmen were Chinese, and the Indians stayed in the plantation. Okay. It doesn't equip the Malay society to face the modern economic necessity. So what happened was it started to have some sort of misunderstanding, unhappiness, and then it led to racial riots in 1969. So due to this, government took affirmative action. Affirmative action is a set policy and practices within government or organisation to favour few groups so that this group will grow. Okay, because this group was historically not given chances. Okay. So this affirmative action is called new economic policy. So Tun Abdul Razak, the Prime Minister, he is Najib's father. He introduced this policy so to eradicate poverty regardless of race, and then to restructure the society. So this was his ideas. So this is this is not really, so this is part of Malaysian civilization and ethics. Okay, the Malays has few special rights. Okay, and it's recognized. Okay, the summary of our lecture today is knowing all the civilization and ethics. It helps you to understand the society better. So that is all. Thank you. Bye bye. See you next week.